begins soon. Please stand by. Don't go anywhere.
Hello? Is it working?
Begins shortly. Warning. The following broadcast is not intended for regular radio. Please disengage your audio console immediately.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left.
You're paralyzed, breathe your disguise. You feed on the lies that they tell you. Gotta break away from the numbing pain. Succumb to the rage that's inside you. You're hypnotized, demoralized. Believe every lie that they sell you. Start channeling whatever will remain.
What's going on, Bull? This is Bull. Jesus, what's going on? This is Bull. Got a lot of things to talk about. Titanic sub, that tragedy. A couple of different new things on TikTok. And possibly a big story coming up. Don't go away, all that and more. Special guest, Christina Osmond from Osmond Entertainment will join us live. She's very returned back to the airwaves on Bulls Radio Lounge. YouTube.com, just search Bulls Radio Lounge. Be back in. Hold on.
There's no defense for your recklessness. You stare as the proof lies before you. What can't you see? Are you afraid to be?
So what's going on? There's been a lot of things that's been happening. A lot of things have been going on. I'm trying to get... there she is. If you can hear me, please mute. So, a lot of things going on in the stories and the headlines and all that stuff, and it's been a while. It's the work's been crazy and stuff like that. So, I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of things, trying to get more content on this channel. So if you're new to this, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. On the other end of the satellite, in her bunker, is Christina Osmond from Osmond Entertainment. Christina, are you there? Hello? Maybe she's not. Hello. Satellites linked up. I don't know. I mean, the connection's linked, but not. I try to introduce him, and it's okay. Yeah, we're live. So whenever you want to join, your mic's on. Just be aware of that. So, anyways, so a lot of things. Like the biggest thing that a lot of people have been talking about, at least the last couple of weeks, amongst the other deal that, I don't want to get into, is the whole thing with this Titan sub. And I'm sure by now almost everybody's an expert on the Titan sub, but it's yeah, okay. I was getting a text message from Chewy Rocks. So she's the producer of the channel. She's the manager, the boss. So anyways, so yeah, the Titan sub. Everybody's probably an expert at the Titan sub. So it was a very bad tragedy, and I really kind of my heart goes out to the people, the families that had to endure this. This is on the surface, not knowing anything about submersibles and how they're built or whatnot, but kind of somewhat of a knowledge of yes. Somewhat of knowledge of different things, not being an expert, but you think of the carbon fiber for one is the big talk that it failed. That's the thing that shattered. So you're going to go see the Titanic, and again, I don't know what the what they do in the actual how deep it is, stuff like that. I've only seen the movies. I've only seen like James Cameron's documentaries and stuff like that. So I can only imagine the immense pressure. But it's just a thing where like he's been saying in these videos that he's skipped some safety protocols. He's skipped certain safety issues, and stuff like that. So Christina, are you there?
I am.
Oh, okay, there you are. I'm sorry, there was an issue with the pot. My bad. All right, so we were talking about the Titan sub, and we're going into the whole deal with it. This, by the way, is Christina Osmond from Osmond Entertainment. So she's been on the show before. A very nice contributor to the channel as well. So, like I've said, I'm not a sub expert. I'm not a sub diver. I've only been scuba diving a handful of times. But, I'm sure you know about this whole Titan sub, right?
I didn't hear that last part. You broke
I said
up.
I'm sure you know all about the Titan sub, right? The Titan sub, the submersible that went to the Titanic and subsequently imploded.
I was like 12 when the Titanic happened, maybe.
Wait.
I don't know. I was a little young kid.
Hold on.
I remember going and seeing it in the freaking movie theaters.
So you said you were 12 when the Titanic crashed?
No, like
That's what you
the
said.
movie.
Oh, you didn't say the movie. I was like, wow, you must be like that movie with what is the oh man,
Benjamin
Bruce.
Button.
No. What is it called? Death Becomes Her. You ever seen that one with
No.
oh man, what's his name? Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
He's a morticianer, like a makeup morticianer, and this I can't remember if it's like it's like his wife and his ex-wife or something like that, and they fight with each other, and then they talk to this one lady that has like this potion that can make you live forever, so then what happens is that they start shooting each other and killing each other, and but they want to live forever, and the guy doesn't. But it's a really good movie. It's like a 1990s ish type movie. Surprised you haven't seen it. Death Becomes Her.
Death Becomes Her. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it's a comedy. It's a parody comedy. When comedy was funny then, But yeah, we were talking about the Titanic sub and the materials that made up to go down to Titanic. And I'm thinking in my head, like I said, I'm not a sub guy, but I've seen the documentaries and stuff like that, and I'm like, in my head, I'm just thinking like, did he really, do this intentional? Like, if the depth and these people who have been down there, more times than anybody else, and they're telling you that your ship is like a Coke can in a pool. And he goes, nah, it'll be all right. It'll be cool. Like, even if you're a passenger and you see these videos, because these are open videos that he posted. And he said that, we had to skip a couple of things couple safety deals to save money. You're going to the Titanic, bro.
Oh no! People are so gullible though. Like, you add fancy shit in there and tell them to come on in, they're all for it. I don't think they really did their research.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Even being a passenger, like, there's been a couple people out. Excuse me, I'm eating a nutritional bar because I haven't eaten all day today. Which you're really not supposed to do that, but oh well.
Yeah, no, you should take better care of yourself.
Well, I'm saying on air you shouldn't do that. It just doesn't sound good. So anyways, but as a passenger, right, wouldn't you think, just by logic alone, right, like Chewy Rocks was telling me about how the sun, because I heard a story, or one of the documentaries, I think with James Cameron, was like the mom was interviewed of the I think the Israeli or something, or Pakistan, guy in the sun, something like that. They were like billionaires, and the father wanted to go, and then the son, or the wife was like, according to the story, was like, okay, I'll go, but then backed out, and then, had the son go. And what Chewy Rocks was telling me was the son was like, did not want to go at all. Like, he had a bad feeling about this,
Keep looking.
And so then when the father was like, no, there's like a Father's Day gift, blah, 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 once in a lifetime thing. And, that's what I'm saying. I got to think, you're a passenger. You're going down to Titanic in a tin can. Did anybody?
Yeah, because there was not enough room on that float for her and Jack both, so she was fine.
Did anybody not see Titanic? I mean that.
Titanic.
But see, that's in the 20s or something like that happened, or 40s. But nevertheless, that's where I question logic. It's like, what did this guy really, how did he put this thing over to these people?
They've never really seen something so fancy before. You gotta, 1920s.
But then you've got a guy who's been to Titanic 35 times. He was considered in the field an expert.
Right.
And he gets into the ship and he goes, yeah, cool. We'll go down to Titanic in a tin can. You've been there 35 times. You've seen these other ships, and from my understanding, there's 10 actual ships or submersibles that can go down to Titanic depth. And I think there's 6 or 8 that actually do it commercially.
That's crazy.
But it's like like I said, you've been down there 35 times. When
I mean, the oceans weren't made for us to conquer.
Well,
You know,
I wouldn't say conquer. I'm just saying just explore. You know, that's
I mean, we've explored the ocean. It's just, if we can't explore all of it or
well,
or conquer it. I mean,
yeah.
one, the depths are way too deep, and no human can go down that far.
Mhm.
There's secrets in the ocean that none of us know of.
Oh, I know. But they also say statistically that we've seen more in space than we have of the ocean. Like there's even speculation of the megalodon is still alive. And they even caught what's called, I think, a Greenland shark, right? That was they estimate about between 28 and 30 foot long.
I mean, yeah, there's stuff that they pulled out of the ocean that we've never even seen before.
Giant squid,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, have you seen that one documentary on them going down there, and it's like a form, one of the deepest steps, and
The Mariana Trench.
the mermaids that they seen down there.
Well, I don't know about mermaids, but
I mean, that's what they say. I mean, but it's not of course, it's not a mermaid, but it's something towards that structure. So
a mermaid structure.
Well, it had a human half a body, so it had a human head, but it looked like a skull.
Did you did fact check this, right?
I did not fact check.
Oh, okay.
But, there's all kinds of different.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt if there was like a megalodon still down there or something like that. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, the ocean is tremendously huge, and they said like, so in essence, going down and this is sort of in perspective, going down to Titanic, right? And especially in a vessel like that, but let's just put it on a human perspective. They've equivalently put it as turning the Eiffel Tower upside down and putting the needle part of it on top of your head while standing, and the amounts of weight and pressure being forced on top of your head because the whole Eiffel Tower is on top of you. That's what it would feel like. Now,
Awkward.
but having said all that, like this is coming from a guy that's never built, like when I've actually was on a first submarine, right? Is when I went, me and Chewy Rocks went to Louisiana, or we're going to Laurel, Mississippi, and we stopped off at this World War II museum. We had a bunch of aircraft and stuff like that, and they had this, World War II submarine. I think it was like an earlier class and they retired or something like that. But it was fairly modern, but not like, the old rugged World War II ones, But just going through that, right, was really claustrophobic, because you don't realize like how small these spaces are. Like you see them in documentaries, but actually being on board one of these things is like, oh crap. And then you're living under the ocean for like 6 to 8 months without going on top of the ocean or seeing fresh air.
Or having fresh air.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing or having or whatever you want to call it. And then on top of that, you've got about 2.5 feet between you and the ceiling, you and the bunk underneath you, and you and the bunk below that. Wow, having the pressure of the ocean push against you.
I mean, have you never been on a cruise before?
No.
Why not?
Because there's the bacteria infested, enclosed, horrible thing. I watched a video of there. I know it was an older story, but it was a video of this cruise ship that went out to international, did a cruise thing. Well, one of the engine parts broke, and they were like stranded in the water, right? Well, at that point, they had, because everything is reliant on like, compressors and generators and stuff like that. The engine, helps circulate the fresh water, all that jazz, right?
Right.
Well, they were stuck out there for like 2 to 3 weeks, and it was just like a petri dish of nothing but people throwing up, feces everywhere, all that stuff. And it's like, as much I want to experience a cruise, I'm like, no, I'm good.
They're fun.
They are not fun when you have incidences like that, or you have an incident of an insufficient captain that hits the rocks and tumples the boat over.
I think that if
That what?
I think
Yes.
what is that?
Huh?
I can't. What is that sound? What is that?
I don't know. You're breaking up. That's why.
No, visit Honda today. That's what
Oh.
that's what I was hearing so loud over you. So, if you don't live your life like and try new things. I mean, you're never.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I've tried new things. I've experienced a lot. In my lifetime.
But nothing like a cruise.
Yeah, I mean, but see, the thing is that okay, like I said, if I went on a cruise, okay, cool, no big deal, just for the experience. If I never go on a cruise, I'm not too worried about it. Okay, because I'm not really like, oh, let's go gun ho on a cruise. I just, for right now, in this period of time, I think I could find something more substantial to spend, however much it costs and the rigmarole to go do it.
Well, it'd be a couple grand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could probably, remodel another room or something like that, or, whatever. Something substantially that we're just going on I mean, like, if I had a couple extra $1 million, sure, wouldn't be a big deal. Go on a cruise and
Then
experience
you wouldn't be
it.
so scared.
I'm not saying I'm not scared. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying, like, I do not want to be on a petri dish of a boat with 1,000 other people that I don't know and nowhere to go. That's what I'm saying.
Could be fun.
It's like being trapped in Disney. Or better yet, it's like being trapped in It's a Small World and you can't go anywhere and all you hear is the music of the small world getting louder and louder.
It's a small world.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think about cruises. Even though they're fun, I would like to go on a cruise. I would really like to go on a Disney cruise to see what the Disney cruise is all about. But I do think cruises are interesting. To me, they're just not like oh my God, I have to go on a cruise. But yes, I think one day I would like to go on a cruise.
They're fun. I went to the Bahamas. It was a lot of fun. But that was like back in, 2007, 8.
Yeah, I mean, you go now, you got to bring your own respirator, So, I mean, oxygen mask, everything. Everybody has their own little quiet little oxygenated rooms. I don't know. Those things are not really what, I don't know. It's a weird, irony, I guess. But no, I have actually been on a casino cruise line. It was a number of years ago too, and Chewy Rocks and I went on a gambling, like a half of those small, like one of those, maybe it was a Seminole casino thingy or something like that, where you go out to international waters and you gamble and whatever. That was a hell of a ride. I'll tell you that much. Because you go out there and they say it's going to be a little bit choppy, and I've been on boats before, no big deal. But then you go out there and, international waters where they say it's going to be choppy, and they mean choppy. Like, we're talking like 20-foot waves as much, you know what I mean? Coming over the deal and people falling over in their chairs and throwing up over the side, It's like, holy crap, these are some big waves. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, listen, you got people, getting hurt, Captain. He goes, I understand, but we can't turn around yet. I go, why? I go, because there's more people gambling than there are people not gambling. And I'm like, but you got people getting hurt. And the people are like, oh, yeah, this, and this. And finally, after 10 minutes later, he turned around, you know. But it's like, wow. But that's the most extreme I've been on a boat like that.
Yeah, I don't know, the Bahama cruise was really cool. You know, we went to what's that? Nassau, where
Nassau?
they have the Atlantis Motel. or
Yeah,
hotel.
yeah.
That was really freaking cool. I mean, you got to see. They had like them glass walkways where you could walk through, like on top of the ocean.
Yeah, I've seen those before. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to go see that. You know, because it's I think it's a very cool hotel. I just getting there is not really my cup of tea yet, I guess. I don't know. I'm weird.
Oh, honey, I know this.
Don't chastise me because I'm weird, okay?
I'm not chastising you.
No, but it is I know it's a fun, and I know people who've been on it like, you know, numerous amounts of times with the Disney cruises and stuff like that. I just I don't know. I just been seeing a lot of violence out there. You know, a lot of hatred. You know, and it's just like you really just don't even feel like going out anywhere. You know, because it's like I've seen videos of people pulling people out of cars. London, you've got these protesters that are like trying to stop oil, you know, drilling, and they're walking like at a 0.5 mile per hour pace, right? And they're blocking off the road so traffic can't pass. You know, and it's like, what? It just seems like those old Terminator movies that are like the whole world is just sort of crashing down, you know, and then AI takes over and starts blowing things up.
Right.
You know, it's like, are these movies like Terminator and Alien, are they like some sort of cosmic foretelling of what's going to happen in actual human reality?
I mean, don't you believe in manifestation?
I mean, in a sense, yeah. But I mean, like the Simpsons got it right with their deal. You know? But, you know, it's like, and all, even with the Titan sub, it's like, you know, where do you come up with all this? That's where I ask about a lot of this stuff that's coming up. It's like, where's the logic? You know? Like, did you think it through? You know, was your ego too big for your ass? I mean, what's going on? It's just like you walk out in the world and you almost have to look like Rambo just to go shopping.
I mean, should always look like Rambo.
No, you shouldn't. It was never like this. It was really never like this. The way society is acting right now was never like this pre-COVID. Like, True Rocks and I were talking about this the other day and hit a good point. A lot of this stuff is stemming from the COVID deal, if you think about it. Because what was going on before COVID? We were happily living our lives.
Not really. We were happily being...
individually we were doing what we were doing, and at that point in time we were happy. You know what I mean? We didn't have all this violence. We didn't have all this protesting. We didn't have all this, and if it was protesting, it was on the sidewalk because they were peaceful about it. You know, on some occasions. they didn't have all this mass shooting that's happening, right? Like, you would hear a mass shooting over once in a while. You wouldn't hear it almost every day. Like, I've been seeing stories almost every single day of 4 or 5 people getting shot. One guy shot a group of people in New York, killed 4 people just at random, like it was Grand Theft Auto. That's what I'm talking about. And when you try to cite that to people, that they just explode, and it's like what happened? What happened to our logic? What happened to adding 1 + 1? Speaking of that, I read a story about how they say mathematics is racist. It's like
I think people are just so fucking sensitive. Oh, excuse me. So sensitive now that it's just ridiculous.
well, that's what I'm
Like,
saying. After COVID, everybody got like that.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
I see a video about a guy that was in a coffee shop, right? They had little circles on the floor. He was behind this one lady from what I can remember. Homeboy's got a mask on him, right? And then all of a sudden he starts flipping out like a crazy guy on what I don't know. I mean, he was a nice dressed gentleman and stuff like that, but he was just like flinging his hands left and right and trying to create this bubble of 6-foot space, and and then in between one lady and another lady, they're all looking at him like, "What the hell's going on with you, buddy?" And it's like he's just like flipping out, and I'm like, in my head, I'm going, did a switch go off? Or, I mean, logically, you would probably think, well, are they tripping out? I mean, wouldn't you think the same thing if you saw that?
I mean, most people are tripping out.
I mean, it's like, I just wonder, like, what happened to the logic that we used to have?
It's gone out the window.
Yeah, what happened to, like I said, with the guy with the Titan sub? It's like, where was your logic? And just with society alone, it's like we lost all grip of reality. It's like,
I think people in general have lost what reality really is. I mean, people get so involved in their day to day that they don't. I mean, half of these people on this earth now couldn't even defend themselves even if they wanted to. I mean, physically, mentally. I mean, they don't have the capability of. I mean, half of these people don't even know how to grow. Okay, so one girl that I brought into my home, she has been so sheltered. She didn't even know corn came on a cob. She just knew it came in a can. I'm dead nuts. Like, this is what today's world. I mean, because people are so wrapped in their phones and TikTok and media of just being what toxic people. They're just filled with drama and this and that. And
well,
money.
And also too, when stuff was when that was okay, back in the day, if a person flipped out, I don't know if it's still the same thing, but this is what I've heard from different this is what I've been hearing from different people, from different psychologists, is when you flip out like that, back in the day, they would actually consider like, okay, well, what's going on with your home life? What happened to you as you grown up? Was there something that triggered this?
Right. Now
But
they
now,
stop asking questions and just give you pills.
well, not only that, but now it's like if somebody flipped, like if you're ordering a coffee, all of a sudden homeboy flips out behind the register and does what, you have to accept that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, where is the logic? Like,
You don't have to accept anything you don't want to.
no,
accept.
that's what they want you. And because if you don't accept it, and this is factual, this is not nothing made up. Every news outlet has been covering the same thing, which I'm not really wanting to get into at this point, but everything is doing the same thing. Okay? If you do not go along with whatever the reality is, because if we can, let's define what is reality. Okay? Now, you have individual reality, which is everybody's right to have, and then you have the reality of what the world is, which everybody can't accept, which is fine. But what they are implying is that if I call myself a tree, I'm just saying for an example, this is why I'm putting it over the top. If I call myself a tree and identify as a tree, my arms are my limbs, and my fingers, which medically are called phalanges, are my leaves. Subsequently, when I poop, they're acorns. But nevertheless, if I'm claiming that I am a tree, you must identify me as a tree. And if you do not use the words that I use, as in sway and rattle and whatever a tree does, then you are wrong and you are horrible. And we will cast you down like Sparta. That's how they want you to do it. So you must set aside your moral and ethical beliefs and set aside so-called First Amendment right of free speech. And you must congregate into the quote, unquote, Jesus juice. And I say that facetiously. I don't mean that. But anyways, that's the whole kit and caboodle in a, humorous way. Not meaning any disrespect. But that's what they want you to believe in a nutshell. They want you to believe what they're doing, well, no matter what it is, whether it's right or wrong, morally or not, they want you to believe it. And that's what you have to go by them by. So that's where I question. It's like, okay, well, where did you come from with this? Like, what happened? And normally, like, for example, Matt Walsh in his documentary, What is a Woman? He interviewed a person that identified as a wolf and part of a wolf pack family.
Oh my gosh.
And-
You want to know, that's about as crazy as the guy. What, they have a new thing now where this guy thinks he was born a baby.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
people change his diaper and feed him like a baby.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that before, too. That used to happen, like, they'd have those in sex cons. Like when Tampa used to do the sex con here,
Yeah.
they do that there. That's not uncommon. I've seen that before. I'm talking about, like, all these extreme cases where you identify as a wolf or you identify as this or like, I'm even seeing videos of people with those, those little toy horses with a little stick that you put around, in between your legs, and you, as a kid, you just do, yeah, I'm riding a horse, right?
Yeah.
Well, these guys are putting on a helmet or a costume horse on their head with a tail, and they're prancing around like a horse would prance around in a show in
Oh
front
my
of
God.
people.
The drugs must be really good.
And I'm listen, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody and what they believe. I'm just trying to understand the logic behind this stuff. Because in my mind, listen, if I came to my dad and I go, listen, I identify as a horse, so you must go hee and ha ha and call me Wilbur.
I don't think there's
You know what he
logic
would
to that whatsoever.
You know what he would do? He would go out to his shop, go grab one of those horse hooves iron things, like, horseshoe type deals, come back and go, let me get this straight. So you identify as a horse, right? Yeah? You sure? Yeah? He'd throw the horseshoe at my head. He goes, that's what I think of your horse. I mean, come on. It really? Like, there's a case in Canada where I think they passed a law where you if your kid does not, or you don't identify your kid as whatever their preferred words are, then they have the right to put the person in jail because they did that. The daughter did that. Better yet, you're no disrespect, but you're a mom, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You have what? How many kids do you have?
3.
By the way, we're talking to Christina Osmond from Osmond Entertainment. She's joining Bull's Thoughts. Okay, so you've given birth, right? I'm assuming. I don't know if it was C-section or whatnot, but it was giving birth. Like, did you experience like actual birth?
I to all 3 of them. Yeah,
Okay.
two with no drugs and 1 with drugs.
Okay.
So,
Now, throughout the pregnancy, right? Did you feel like the babies were kicking in those periods of times? Like, you felt life in them. Like, as a mom, did you sort of feel that intellectual bond with them?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but there is a girl. This is another extreme case that she was suing her parents. Mind you, I think at the time of the video she was 20 years old or something like that. And you can look this up as well. But she was suing her parents for not consenting, as she was an unborn baby. So what she's claiming is her mom didn't ask her to be born before she was born. She didn't get consent to come into this world before she was born.
No, I gave you that consent.
But that's what she's claiming. So she was suing her parents, her mom and dad, for $10,000 and subsequently $5,000 a month to pay for her rent and stuff like that, because she didn't ask if she wanted to be born or not. Yeah. Yeah. So the judge threw the book on her, said, get a job. And she's still boo-hooing on YouTube about how her, even though she has 2 kids now, I think, from what I've seen in other videos, she's still boo-hooing about the parents and don't pay her. What do I do? I got all these bills.
I mean, you become responsible.
Yeah, but
you fail,
and
then
that
you,
right.
and you learn more, and then you learn more. You are in this life to learn lessons, and
Right.
that's why you're here in the first place.
Right.
People are so divided about let's throw our ego into the mix and get so bent out of shape because things aren't going our way. So we're just going to throw this little bit of a hissy fit real quick so we can try to find someone that we can convince to feel what we feel, because in reality all people seek is just approval.
True.
So regardless if they had their approval met as a kid, obviously the chick did not. Obviously they gave her quite a bit of stuff that she didn't quite deserve. So that's the parents. I mean, it really all boils down in how you raise your children.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because the thing is okay, you know me, just like Matt the Savior knows me. Everybody knows where I stand with this, right? I've always said, I don't care who you love, what you do, if you want to sleep with 50 people, go right ahead. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you don't put kids in jeopardy, right? I don't care, okay? But I've seen, and again, everybody can look this up if you don't believe me. But during Pride Month, this is where I question, like, the logic again. But during Pride Month, you've got men dancing in their underwear in the street. You've got guys fully nude riding a bike in the street. Right? Now you've got additional picture that I've seen that's been circulating around is that you have 3 older gentlemen that are completely naked with their deals out, one of which has a his is ard. And there are little girls, like 5 or 6, maybe 8 years old, fully clothed, trying just to walk down the sidewalk with their mom and whatever, having to walk right in between all this. And there's about a 1 foot to 2 foot spacing in between this. And you can look that up too.
I mean,
but it's like, why
the
are...
United States is so sexual, though. You know.
Oh, but hold
they
on.
don't-
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. No. This has nothing to do with that. Okay? Because, again, before COVID, if somebody were to do that before COVID, they would be considered a child molester and all the child predator. So America being sexual has nothing to do with some jabronis being naked because it's Pride Month and having little kids walk right in between the triangle of all 3 of these guys. I mean, come on. Any parent would have a problem with that. Anybody would have a problem with that.
I understand the problem, and I understand it being an issue, but why is someone's sexual organs such a big deal? Like, that is what I don't understand. Like, you have men that gawk, and the rape rate, for instance, let's just go there. The rape rate in the United States is 10 times more than it is overseas.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the UK, Google their rape rate compared to ours. And they have nude beaches and they honor the body. You know what I mean? So, like, I mean, I get what you're saying. But everything and every part
Well, it says,
sexualized.
according to this study, right? It says everyone is affected by sexual violence. 1 out of every 6 American women have been the victim of an attempted or completed rape in their life in her lifetime.
Yeah.
At 14.8% completed, 2.8% attempted. About 3% of American men, or 1 in 33, have experienced an attempted or completed rape in their lifetime. But see, the thing is, now, let me go back to what you're saying is there's no problem with sexual organs, okay? Even in Italy, before they started doing their riots, they were very open about their sexuality, even in their commercials, stuff like that. No big deal. The Romans used to do athletic games in the nude, okay?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about the sexual organs. It was about the muscle structure. It was about how they performed. Artists in the Renaissance era used to paint, and they still do it today in colleges, nude art. And it's not being sexual. It's just being, the problem is that the old saying is one apple will ruin the entire thing.
That's right.
So what we have is not about being sexual and not about liking the sexual organs. It's about these people that develop these ideas and perform these things. Okay, because like I said, let's be honest. Before COVID, if that picture that I talked about where these little kids walked between those 3 guys hanging out with their deals out in the open, like no filter, no nothing, and that went viral, that went on CNN, all that stuff like that, those guys...
Why is that going viral? Like those guys were out there intentionally. Like, were they intentionally in between the kids? Like intentionally bugging
You know,
the kids?
listen, it doesn't matter if it's
Probably
intentional.
not.
Listen, it doesn't matter if it's intentional
It
or not.
does
No.
because the world has changed so freaking much. You get kings that change the world.
No, it's just
the
it's
word
a
of things.
it's a matter of just, it's not just even right or, well, it is right and wrong, but I mean, it's just a matter of having that moral self compliance of like, oh my God, that's a kid. Let me like not traumatize her, you know, even if it's intent or not. I mean, it's just having self control.
I mean, traumatize would be basically making a huge ass deal about it.
No, but
Traumatize would be, yeah, because kids see that on a day-to-day basis. What is so abnormal?
which is
from
true.
that?
But see, the thing
It's
is,
not abnormal. People
well,
make it abnormal.
here's the thing.
People make it a big deal.
A picture says 1,000 words.
You're absolutely right, but the
Okay,
thing of it
and-
is that is why you're not supposed. In all reality, if you want to hit the spiritualness, that's why you're not supposed to capture pictures. Is because that just traps you in that moment.
Well-
and the thing of it is that, you know, people are so sexual based. You know, when it comes to females, when it comes to children, when it comes to all kinds of different things, people, you know, they're not just living life and being happy and being, you know, open.
Right.
You know, back in the day, in, you said, European times, we had trans back then. I mean, if you really don't think about it, you men had to equal a woman's spiritual level before they were even allowed to wear a wig. And yet you got men walking around with wigs saying that they're females, but in all reality, it's because they've been pushed into a corner and never fit in anywhere. And so they had to become their own self some way, somehow. So regardless, and it's all in how you're raised. So if you got more female influence, you got more male influence, you got, you know, whatever around you, that is what you're going to, you know, grow up and base your life off of. But, you know, the shitty part is that nobody really has 100% at home. Like, you know, my son came to me, right? And he hates his hairy legs, but he wants to shave his legs. Does that mean me as a mom saying that my kid's getting picked on in school because his hair is so thick that he wants to shave his legs, but all of a sudden some kid calls my kid gay? So, like, that's not cool. One, if you're gay, you're happy. So, I mean, you go ahead and be what you want. I don't think that there's any problem with men being with men, women being with women. I'll switch it up if you want to. I mean, but, you know, you have the United States that formed people into this Christian way for so freaking long that everybody has lost track
I don't,
of what the real thing is.
well, I don't know if it's necessarily, because I hear that all the time, where it's a Christian ideology, and no, it's not that. Because, listen, this America was founded, I mean, back in, you know, 1776, on the impressionism that in God we trust. But I mean, and here's the deal or the deal. You have to believe what you want to believe, okay? Religiously speaking, okay? If you don't believe in something, okay, well, that's cool. No big deal. Like for me, I've been to many different churches in my day because I was curious to see how they did their sermons. I was and I was very interested. So I hear that all the time, and I'm like, listen, it's individual people. It has nothing to do with Christian ideology. It has nothing to do with anything else but just plain logic. Okay? Just like with the guys with the kids. Yeah, okay, if you want to be gay and stuff like that, that's great. But come on, let's just have some self-filters here. Okay? Think about it.
There's nude beaches all over the place.
Yes, but even, okay, speaking of that, nude beaches, like in Miami, right? There's actually like a singles beach, a nude beach, and then a family beach. Now, here's the thing. I've been to Miami many, many times. I've been to those beaches many, many times. And you know what? The people that transverse between one section of the beach, I mean, it's not sanctioned that, but I mean, that's what the unofficial rule is. But the people who transition back and forth or transverse back and forth between those sections of beaches, girls go out topless. Nothing's said. Okay? No big deal. All right? But I think it's just not about just this whole Christian ideology. It's just about the individual person. Because the individual person has to take responsibility for what they do. It's like, for example, if somebody wanted to press charges on these three guys because they were doing that, considering their child, whatever, right? They're not going to sit there and go, well, because I'm gay, I can do that. No. You have to take responsibility in accordance to the laws that are provided in that state or county. And if this is considered child abuse or child whatever, you have to take responsibility on that.
You have to abide by laws that make no fucking sense.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Why would you? Okay, let me ask.
But in order to what? In order to
okay,
what
but here
views are and what they think should be right and wrong.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to have a self filter. Like, let me ask you a question. If your kids were walking behind you in this particular situation, this is hypothetical, right? And let's say your kid said, "Hey, mommy, I was walking by that guy, and that guy got a little bit closer, or he moved, whatever, and his deal touched my arm, like a slit across my arm." Would you have the same as a parent? Not about how your beliefs are, not about how you feel about whatever. As a parent,
Why the hell were you so close to it?
No. You would say that to your kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Come on.
First of all, I wouldn't have my children. I mean, and the thing of it is that if you're gonna have those beliefs, then you're gonna believe, and you're gonna have kids, then you're gonna raise your kids a certain way.
But I'm saying the thing is that when you have that situation, it's your job as a parent to protect those kids no matter what, whether foreign or domestic. And if the deal brushes up against your kid's arms, whether intentionally or not, I have a problem with that.
I mean, of course.
I'm going to be like, "Hey, dude, what the fuck is your problem?" I said, there's kids walking around because we can't go anywhere else. We have to go this way.
But see, that's the thing, right? So if it's intentionally done, then yeah, what the fuck is your problem?
But it doesn't matter whether intentional or not. The dude should have some self-aware to back away.
You're absolutely right.
To relieve himself of a possible jail time situation, because you and I both know everybody can sue for any reason. Okay?
That's because you're living in a world full of a whole bunch of pansies.
No, I'm living in a world with people that have lost their grip on reality.
Right, and money means more to them than anything else.
I'm just saying, I don't think...
If a dude is literally out at a gay thing, having a good time, and accidentally brushes against your child and you lose it, first of all, what the fuck's your child doing there? Second of all, that's not his issue. You've put yourself in that position.
Yes, but okay, so what happens if that was the only way to get to where they were going?
Accidentally.
It doesn't make it. What? Here's the thing, though. Let's. Okay.
There's a thing. If you purposely do something, this is how I raise my children.
Right.
If you purposely do something that is on you, it is purposely done, and you knew the consequences before you stepped into that action. Yes. So if you accidentally do something, meaning that you're just there fighting by your own space, and you accidentally turn around and bump into somebody, that is not a procedure for someone to look at you and be like, "Dude, what the fuck?" No, that is a procedure for that person to be like, maybe this isn't really the right place for us. If you're uncomfortable, leave.
But it's not about. But see, but it's not about. Okay,
Issue.
I think we're going down a different road. It's not about being uncomfortable. It's not about nothing about that. Okay, to me, and I see where you're going with it, but to me, I would think, okay, let's just say for me, for example, maybe let's just dial up my moral compass. Okay, if Matt the Savior and I were hanging out there and we're doing the same deal with that, whatever. For me, I'm like, holy crap, there's some kids on the radar. Let me back up. Let me kind of cover my deal. Not because I'm embarrassed, not because of whatever, I'm having a good time. It's just because of the fact that, you know what? I don't want to have a situation. I don't have a problem. I don't want to have a picture taken. I don't want to have nothing to do with that because I just want to live my life and enjoy what I'm doing. Whether or not it's intentional or not, it does not make a difference. I think some of these people need to have some sort of filter on them when it comes to stuff like that. Because what's to say if this person, intentionally or not, rubs the deal down the kid's arm? What happens if the person have herpes? What happens if the person have AIDS? That's the problem. You don't know with these people. Why do you think I sit there and go, I hate when like Magic Kingdom is so packed. I hate walking around with people that are like sweating and horribly and you bump into them. It's like, ugh. Because it's not about the person perspirating so badly. It's about the fact of what's in their system that you're possibly getting onto you. That's why I say some of these people need to have some sort of filter on them. That way they can sit there and go, because we used to have that. Like, I have a very good friend of mine that is gay, that's been gay since the 1970s, wherever he came out, and he's appalled by this. He's like, this is not the way we want to be known as. This is not civilized. Watching a 60-year-old man with a beer belly prouncing around in his underwear in front of 2 to 10 to 12 to whatever year olds. I'm sorry. Before COVID, that was considered child indecency.
I mean, it is, but why is your child there?
That's what I asked the question. It's like...
So if you're going to introduce a child to... I mean, it is what it is. Sex should definitely not be, and neither should sexual parts. They should not be...
Yes, but you don't see Italy doing that. You don't see China doing that. You don't see Thailand doing that. And in fact, if they did that over there, you know what would happen to them?
They probably get sold into sex slavery.
I'll put it to you like this, okay? So there was a story that I saw, and I'm very wary about talking about this, but this guy went to North Korea to go on a trip, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you this story and how significant this was, but how small it actually was, okay? So this guy went to this hotel where all these, American or foreigners go. There is a notary, I guess, some sort of fifth floor. I don't know. I'm not saying much. Anyways, it's a room inside there where they have a bunch of, pro-government, whatever. So this guy decided to take, this is on YouTube. You can watch this as well. Decided to take a poster off the wall of like Kim Jong-un just to, take it home and have like a souvenir or whatever. Well, they caught the guy and they put him away for 2.5 years. In jail for that. And what I'm saying in that story is how small of a possible crime that could be. They put this guy in 2 years of hard labor before the America got him out. Hard labor. Like busting up rocks. Like, for example, if you try to escape that area and they catch you, even if you're a child, you're going away for prison for life. If not executed. Even if you're a kid. So, and conglomerate to what I was speaking of if these 50 to 60 or however old these people are doing that there, they decide to go over there, they would have no retribution over there. And they would not care what you believe, what your sex is, what your gender is, how you feel, nothing. So that is a problem here in America.
I think we got more problems than that. But...
We have more problems to deal with this BS, to be honest with you. Italy, France, looks like Grand Theft Auto. Because people are plowing cars into stores, lighting houses on fire, killing people. All because of the government. And supposedly somebody had killed...
all because people are telling them what to do and how to live their lives.
Well, it's even like with the Trump thing and the Congress deal, right? He was on like a CNN show the other day, right? And she talked about this, try to like trap him up, and supposedly he goes, everybody asked me about that thing, and the day where people invaded Congress, and opposed to what Trump said and blah blah blah. Well, he goes, no, I have the transcript right here, and he opened it up and he read it word for word, and from what I heard, according to the video, and I'm taking it verbatim for what I've heard on the video. It said nothing, or I heard nothing about it saying that anything to storm the Capitol. And having said that, if that's true, then it's the individual people that took that, or took whatever he said, and misunderstood it, and then invaded the Capitol. I mean, it's just logic. And as a person, if you invade the Capitol, regardless of whatever, like, for example, the main guy that invaded the Capitol, that took Pelosi's podium, he's serving over 20 years in a federal prison. And he's only like 26. And you chose to do this. You made that choice as a person to do this. That's where it breaks it down like a fraction. You know what you're doing before you do it. Just like with these guys that were having their deals out, whether or not the kids are walking or whatever, doesn't make a difference. You know that there's children that's going to be there. And you know that there are probably going to be children walking around. So why don't you just turn on your moral compass and say, yeah, you know what? I'm cool. I love pride. No big deal. Whatever the case for the children, no worries. I'll cover it up. No big deal. They walk away. Okay, cool. Yay. All right. Because I'm telling you, it's not happening on the other side of the world. I guarantee you'll be shot. I guarantee you that. Look it up. Look at YouTube. There's plenty of videos of that. It was funny because on that same documentary, Matt Walsh went to South Africa, right? And he goes, what's a woman? He asked a bunch of, the villagers that live out there in the bush,
Mm-hmm.
He goes, what's a woman? And he goes, well, a woman's a woman with boobs and, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, what would you think? He showed a picture of, I don't know who it was, maybe Dylan or something like that. And it was a man transforming into a woman. And he goes, what do you think about that? And they go, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. They didn't know, It's unheard of. But people think of it as bigotry.
It's not unheard of. People just have
Well, when you have that reaction from like a tribe,
it's unheard of from now. Like, first of all, like, people used to do that, like right now is all we know from like 100 years that way and 100 years that way, and what people have told us, and the game of fucking telephone that people
Of course,
just
right.
continue.
But
So we don't really know.
but my
Like,
thing
they
is
just
like,
adjust it off.
yeah, my thing is like, if and I agree with the friend of mine that, you know, as we talked about it before, if you like how you live it, that's fine. Live your life. Nobody's telling you how to live your life. I think most people are just going, like, okay, did you think about this before you did this?
I mean, but that's not really their judgment to uphold, though.
Well, I mean, let's get real. When you say you talk, when you're a wolf and you're part of a wolf pack, you know,
Go be in your wolf pack and leave us the fuck alone.
you know, it's just,
You know what I mean?
it just logic just sort of is curiosity, you know? It's like, like I want to learn. I want to learn. How did you become a wolf?
I mean, then go be part of their wolf pack and figure it out if you want to know. But don't mock them for doing what they do.
Oh, I'm not
because they
mocking
have a
anybody.
certain way. You know, no, I know. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, you know,
in general,
but you
people
have to.
what they do is when they don't understand, they mock people and they make fun of them and they bully them because of what? Because they're doing something that you're not doing. Like,
Well, no, they're. I think most of it again, they're just sort of questioning logic. And what happens is when you question logic, and it's almost like Bigfoot, right? If I told you I saw Bigfoot and I had a picture of Bigfoot, it'd probably look fuzzy and you wouldn't be able to see it. But if I showed you a picture of Bigfoot behind a family with the peace sign holding up, and even though I have a digital picture with a digital footprint and digital location, you would still not believe it. And I think that's the problem. It's not about who the person is. It's about when you come out into reality like this, people have questions. And then when people ask questions, people get so upset about the questions. If you want to educate somebody, the best way to do it is to sit down and go, hey, let me answer any question that you want to answer or ask. Like, for example, the Dame, Florida Dame. She's a transsexual male to female. She's been doing it since she was 16. She's like 20 something. She's going to be having a show on here. We're going to be doing a show together. She's a very nice person. I love her to death. You know, just like all the casts that I have on here. You know, but she's very open for people to ask questions. She even hates all this stuff.
yeah.
You know, she thinks this is all stupid. This is coming from a transsexual person. You know, and that's the whole thing. It's like nobody's telling you how to live your life. They're just curious. They're questioning because as humans, we are naturally curious. So why do you get upset when somebody wants to ask a question? Like I learned in college, in medical college, we talked about diabetes, right? Let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the best person to ask about diabetes? I'll give you a hint. There's only two people. Well, two people, one of which is correct. The other one is not correct. In a sense.
I'm drawing.
Most would say you're a doctor. But
Yes.
that's only half correct. Because what they teach you is the best person to talk about diabetes is the person with diabetes. Because they know how their body works. They know how their body acts. They know what to do if something goes wrong. The doctors don't. They're going about studies, analytics, patients. And that's my point. Instead of calling people bigotries and canceling people, why not sit there and if people have questions, answer their questions? Just explain, okay, if you feel comfortable explaining, maybe it's a mental thing, maybe it's a thing that happened when you were, you had traumatized parents or whatever. But that's what people want to do. They want to learn. But when you be hostile about it and you come up with stuff that's beyond the norm, or You're pulling out words from the dictionary and trying to make them their own and forcing people to say all this stuff. That's where people have a problem. You know? And like you said earlier, you can't dictate what people say, but apparently you can.
I mean, everybody tries to.
No, they have laws about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Instead of going off the deep end, why not just sit there and explain? Why not sit there and answer the questions? Not just you have to. I'm just saying that way there's a peaceful conversation, and that way there's better understanding. Like, for example, if I came out and said that I'm a wolf, I'm part of a wolf pack family, in my head, I would expect that there's going to be questions to be asked.
Right.
And in my head, I'm going to expect that there's probably going to be some mockery. You have to expect that. Why? Because average normal society would dictate that that's not really a normal behavior. Because again, that was considered craziness. Now again, you live your life the way you want to be, but just be aware of those situational things that people are just curious. Because if we go back into caveman times, if you said that you were a tree, the caveman would probably knock you up against the wall or vice versa. I mean, just reality speaking here. You know, I'm for whatever lifestyle you want to go. Like I said, as long as you don't hurt or put kids in danger. That's the only thing. You know, because they don't deserve that. Whether or not you think it's righteous or not, come on, let's be real. Do they really deserve that? Do they really need to see a 50-year-old man dancing in a thong and knee-high boot, or what we call what's it called? Fuck me pumps, with a wig on, chest hair, right? With long sleeve gloves, doing flips over a chair in front of a bunch of 2 to 8-year-olds, which they have no idea what the fuck you're doing. But yet the problem is, and psychologists will tell you this as well, when they say a kid's mind is like a sponge, that's what they mean. So they're seeing this at that age. Even though they might be dancing to the music, they're seeing that. And that's being seared into their brain. Again, back in the day, that would be called child molestation, child pornography. But now it has to be the norm. And if you fight it, you're canceled. That's where I don't understand the logic is.
I just stay in my own little square bubble and
well, they always say these conversations has to be had. And okay, well, that's fine. Let's have the conversation, but don't get mad at people when they ask the questions.
right.
Yeah, get mad at the people who mock you. Yes, of course. It's horrible. But if they have legitimate questions because they're legitimately curious, don't get mad at them. I mean, why? What's the point in that? What did that solve?
Probably not a whole lot.
No, because it just shows how much of an ass the person is. Like, for example, if you broke your leg, naturally, I'd be like, hey, what happened to your leg? Oh, my God, are you okay? Because, again, we're humans. We're curious. We want that information. You know, it's like this new movie with Snow White coming out from Disney. Have you heard about that? Hello?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
No,
yeah.
I haven't.
So the new thing now with Snow White and Disney. Well, Disney's producing this. is that, so I don't know about you, Christina, but for me, I'm very pro how the movie is filmed, how the scripting sounds, okay? And I'm 50-50 because back in the day that the casting director would direct the exact person for the exact role. So I'm kind of 50-50 on that, if that makes sense. Okay? I don't know about you on movies.
I watch. I mean, it really doesn't bother me if a book's different or a movie is different. That they're all created in an artist form way. So, like, really, in reality, I like to see it all. It not even bashing if it's different or not. Like, I like to see the different, where it's different at.
Yeah,
So
and I agree with you as well. And that's I'm right where that's that exactly. So with like the Snow White movie, right? The lead actress is, I believe, Spanish descent, and she looks Spanish, which again doesn't really bother me, but other people it's really a big deal. But the Seven Dwarves are not even called the Seven Dwarves anymore. They're called the Friends. They're their friends. You know, and so the problem is that the people are having an issue because they're having like radical different clothing on that doesn't even match what the original storyline is. And I guess the proposed ending is that instead of kissing the dwarves on the head, because she's not going with the prince, they kind of cut the prince out of the whole story. She's kissing them on the head as she leaves because they felt it was too much. I don't know what she did before.
I don't remember.
I think she said they were going to shake her hand or something like that. But anyways, it's become a big whole viral thing because the fact that they're not portraying this film from its original content. And
I mean, most of them aren't portrayed towards their original content. I mean, for instance, when Cinderella was first redid, it was Brandy that was in it. You know what I mean? I mean, Cinderella wasn't of the African American, descent. She was Caucasian. So,
well, I mean, there's a lot of different renditions of Cinderella. I mean,
right,
just
right.
movie wise, I think I mean, for me, I don't care what, like for, Ariel, Little Mermaid. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care that she's black. Doesn't make a difference to me. As long as she can act, she can do the role. It's good for me. And the storyline's good. Filming's good. That's it. I'm good. Call it a day. How do you feel? Same thing?
I don't really care. I don't really care. So if people want to do what they if they have interest in doing something, then let them do it. As long as it doesn't harm them or harm someone else in the making of the process, then I have no say to what anyone does or doesn't do.
Okay, so
I mean, in my world, I read tarot cards. So people may say that because I read tarot cards, I can't believe in God. So in the Bible, it states that if you speak to the dead, you're cursed for the rest of your life. Does that mean that I'm cursed for the rest of my life? Because
it's not up to everybody else to decide what it is. It's up to you to decide. If you think that you are going to be cursed because of whatever that you do, then that's on you, no matter what anybody else says. See, that's the thing that goes with religion. There's people who are like atheists that are like, oh my God. Listen, it's all what you believe in. That's what they preach about. Okay? Christianity is or any religion in itself, is how you believe. If you believe that that's what you believe in, then that's what you believe in. This holy war between, and then putting politics involved with the whole religious thing is just really sort of dumb, because they don't go together. Because again, it's a choice. You're making that choice to choose whether or not you want to have faith or believe it or whatever the case may be. It's not about, all this other crap. The shooters that claim that they were told by God to go kill 14 innocent kids because they don't want to wave whatever. That's a choice that you're making to go do that. Yeah, mentally you might have a little bit, you might have one fry short of a Happy Meal, but in reality, when you shoot 14 people, you still are making that choice to go do that. And those are just facts. Because there's nothing sitting there going, pulling your arm, grabbing an AK-47 or whatever rifle you want to grab, or gun or whatever. There's nothing pulling your arm telling you to go do this. You don't have an entity pulling on your arm, shooting at people. I mean, come on. Don't blame this on other things. That take responsibility for what, if you sat there and claim that you're seeing people or you're hearing things, okay, that's a mental thing as well. But take responsibility for what you did. If you killed 14 people, you chose to pick up that gun to go do that. That's why sometimes I kind of get aggravated when these people make these claims about these arms dealers or these arms people that make these weapons, and they want to blame the people for making them. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're picking up the gun to go do whatever you're going to go do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got your message.
Yeah, I get
No worries.
the kids got to get going. To
Yeah. I was going to wrap it up around 3. So,
So,
is that good for you?
yeah, we got 10 more minutes.
Okay.
I can do that.
I was going to talk about this last thing before I went on a rant. Speaking about movies, have you heard about this Sound of Freedom?
No.
Well, basically, it's about sex trafficking. I guess this one actor is, and this is getting a really like conspiracy theory 101 over here. This movie has come out in theaters, but they're saying that like AMC directly is like shutting off air conditioning, turning on lights, making it to where the movie is not viewable in their theaters, because this movie is about, if I remember correctly, an actor that picks up or something like that, a kid, and finds out the child trafficking. Stand by, I got the video here.
How many kids you found?
It's playing live.
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade.
So Hollywood is up in arms with this. Like, they're like freaking out. Like, they're having a modern, meltdown because of this movie. And how it talks about sex trafficking in Hollywood and stuff like that. But that's a real thing too. That's a real thing here in Tampa, I think, too, as well.
It's a real thing all over.
Yeah, but still, that like hits home. It's like, oh man.
You see, people are so dumbfounded. Like, they don't even know that it goes on here in the United States.
Oh yeah, but when you have this reaction to a movie, mind you,
It's because that sex. What is the number one selling? I've always
Sex
told you
sells.
this. What is sex sells? That's exactly right. And people want to own it and claim it and have it whenever they want.
yes, but
Whenever they want. Like, so if you have to misuse a woman in order to, or even a man, I mean, because men get sold into
Yeah.
sex slavery too as well.
But this
you know,
movie is about child trafficking.
I mean, there's all kinds of trafficking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what really makes it worse is the child trafficking, because they don't really have a choice. You know, they're just once they nap them, they put them on drugs, and there you go. And then you never see them again most of the time.
Yeah.
That's the problem, and that's what Hollywood is flipping out about. You know, that's why AMC is like shutting down certain theaters, trying not to make this film be seen. Like, those are the kind of reactions that I go, okay, so what's really going on? Because if all these things are adding up to this movie, what are you guys doing? What kind of a cesspool are you guys running? You know, because you always hear about the casting couch. Everybody thought it was fake, but that was real. You know what that is?
No.
You don't know what the casting couch is?
No.
Casting couch was a guy who came up with this idea where he filmed him sleeping with women on the couch, but this is part of the casting. You had to see how these things would you know, how the girls would react and act and stuff like that. So you would have sex with them on camera and then put them up on the porn sites. But it was actually a real deal. Like, he was actually, like, he got convicted for it too. You know, these were like, you know, teenage girls, 18 and up, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You know, because they had a big story about it a number of years ago. Like the guy who did the, what's the one where you go to the beaches and he filmed girls taking their tops off in his motorhome? Girls Gone Wild?
Yeah.
He got put in jail.
Really?
Uh-huh. Got sued too. So, sex sells, but then it's like I said, if you have this kind of reaction to a movie like this, that says something. That's saying a lot. Like I said, a picture holds 1,000 words. Or says 1,000 words. What is this saying about Hollywood?
Yeah.
And then you got a strike, you got a writer's strike, you got an actor's strike. You know, just subsequently after this film came out. That tells you something.
It does.
Just waiting for the asteroid. You know, it's okay. Final thoughts after we all talked, and this is just hindsight, just, you know, healing through humor. I mean, this is nothing. This is conversations that it's good to have just because, you know, understanding. But do you think our society is going to fall? Because it says human history repeats itself, right? The Renaissance, the fall of the Romans, stuff like that. Do you think that we're going to have a modern day fall of the Roman times in our modern times now?
No, I don't. I think there's going to be a big ass fall. I think there's going to be a big ass fall.
I'm going to take that as a yes, you know, that you're going to, you know.
Well, I know where the bunker is. No, I'm just
I have a 25-foot deep bunker. I only got enough food for about 2 years, so if all the zombies come back, then I got a place to stay. You know, get all the crew down there, Tree Rocks, all the interns, bunker down. Got a self-defense system. Minefield. Just kidding. No minefield, but a minefield. So yeah. Christina Osmond, thank you so much. It was great talking to you on my way back to coming back to the airwaves. I've really missed it, and I appreciate bouncing stuff off you, you know, and you know, it's good to have a nice little conversation. And mind you, none of this is mad or not mad. Nobody's upset or nothing. It's just conversations, you know, and that's what I like. I like to have a well addressed conversation to where, you know, things make sense.
Right.
You know.
Well, I don't think everything's supposed to make sense. I think people put too much thought into that.
Well, okay, so a better understanding then, you know, and that's all we need. We need a better understanding on things that we question as humans, you know. So
Right.
hopefully that'll change. I don't know. I mean, come on, we have already lost the climate thing, so let's not lose this.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, my love. So
That is true, but it was also taken down in 24 hours. So
that's very true.
we will see what happens. Maybe the satellites from distant orbits will come down and rain upon us. I don't know. It's a big galaxy out there. Nevertheless, I am Bull. Alongside with special guest Christina Osmond from Osmond Entertainment. Just go to youtube.com and just search Osmond Entertainment. Just go on to Google and just search Osmond Entertainment as well. You'll find all her social links, all that and more. Go to osmondentertainment.com. Give her a buck or two. Also, she's looking for an RV.
Yeah.
So if you want to donate, the link is up there on the Facebook page. You can donate. Listen, give her a couple bucks. Come on. You know, she wants to get an RV. She wants to go travel. She's like, the hell with all this shit.
It's not just that. So we got 66 bands throughout the U.S. and the U.K. that we sponsor for free. There's this big thing in the music industry now to where people are charging for interviews.
Uh-huh.
So I do a special kind of interview that really, puts all the focus on the artist, and it's all community.
Should I ask what kind of special interview it is?
Well, so okay, so
Oh, well, do we have time for this?
We do. So we
Okay.
just had one with New Dilemma.
Okay. We're talking
and-
about her GoFundMe account.
Yes.
If you go, I believe I have it up on the deal. We've kind of extended our time here. Let's see. Let me try to pull it up. Stand by. So her concept is that she has this RV, right? And she wants to go put it as like a green room type of situation. By the way, I have it right here. Go to GoFundMe.com and just look up, I believe it's our band camper. Is that what you're calling it? Our band camper?
Yeah.
We're asking for help to donating and to get Osmond her band camper. Everything she does is for a nonprofit. She doesn't make any money or promoting or running her streaming station. For 2 years now, everything is done by promoting and trading. She would love to meet everyone personally, so interviews, set up shows, and venues. With everything she has helped us out, let's give back to her and help us and help her. Sorry, my bad. Reset. Give back and help her help us more. Okay, that may have to be edited there.
So hopefully we can have you on there too as well. I'd love to get your
Well, it all depends on. I mean, listen. If we're going to start talking about paying for interviews, we can negotiate the price. But my question is like, you said very,
they don't pay for interviews, so all of our stuff is donated. So basically, the donations, the artist, everything is free for.
Oh, okay.
So like our goal is to be able to pay our artists by the end of this fall. So we're not
okay.
looking to collect any money for our interviews. But like I was telling you, the New Dilemma band that is upcoming, they're about 15K on Facebook. They're out of Orlando, Florida.
Oh.
We took them to Dave and Buster's in Orlando. Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, I know that. Yep.
Freaking honored the shit out of us on that one. It was great, man. Their staff was just so freaking awesome. They provided us with 10 free dinners, game cards, all the whole
Look at
9
that.
yards.
Yeah.
But we peaked 11 million this morning, so
Okay.
that is our 28-day post range amount is about 11 point. I think it's 11.3 mil right now.
For the camper?
No. That's just for my personal Facebook. So that's my
okay.
personal.
Is that your friends? Is that what it is? 11,000,
No, sir.
11,500?
So like, so when you go in on your insights on Facebook, you can look at like how your business is growing. And right now, my personal is turned into a public figure. So we're using my main profile, my personal profile, there are two on there, but this one was created right when the business was created. We added all my friends, and then it just kind of grew from there. We went from about 1,000 following to right now the following count and like count is only at, I believe it's 7.5K. But then we also the insights on your post though, so that's how many people you reach. So that's like our reach band is at 11.3 mil. So that's how many people are seeing our post is around 11 mil. So we're steadily trying to get those numbers up. I work on the marketing aspect of it, probably about 8 hours a day to keep my numbers where they are. And that is just to kind of keep growing the following. So then that way we have 66 bands that we promo. So it helps get them out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when we do start doing what we're calling the band camper, and it's called Osment 777 interviewing tour. So we're going to go on a tour throughout the United States and the UK, interviewing all the bands that are on our countdown list. We're not charging the bands anything for marketing. The only thing we're charging the bands is for the logos on the camper. So when we do the camper and we promote the camper throughout the United States.
No, what happened? Did I lose her?
And the UK.
There you go. Okay. Nope. Lost her again. Probably bad connection. All right, well, go check her out, Osmond Entertainment. Go check out her GoFundMe. It's right there on the Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com to search Bulls Space Radio Lounge, and you'll find it there. She's raised $155. Her goal is $10,000, which is really cool. That you can find some nice campers like that. So go check it out.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You're breaking up pretty bad. So we will catch you on the flip side of that. Don't forget that we're probably going to do a Tuesday show.
Okay.
So we're going to do, Social Reload show tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And get back in the system. And don't forget, we're going to do some more Bulls Thoughts. Whether, if Christina's available or not, she can join in as well. There might be another show coming out with Truey Rocks and I. That's going to be very interesting. And you guys, listen, I cannot say this enough. You guys are going to get excited about this when we finally have Dame come on to the shows and do her own show on here. She said she's open to any type of questions you want to ask. So if you guys have questions, call in. You can talk to her directly and she'll answer them openly. She has no problem. I think it's going to be a great combination. I've always supported everybody of what they do, so I think it's going to be a good thing. So I can't wait for that to come out as well. Christina, have you anything else?
Oh, no, sir. Sounds like
right.
planned.
No, sir.
We'll get to talking a little later.
I'm not sir.
Oh, everybody's a sir. Don't you know that?
That's relatively making me old.
Well, that's not going to change.
Thank you so much, Christina Osmond from Osmond Entertainment. Go check her out. We'll check you later. Don't miss out. A lot of good things happening. Back on the air, Bulls Radio Lounge. Matt the Savior coming up tomorrow night. Right now is Christina Osmond. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Guys, have a good day.
Can't you see? Are you afraid to be exposed to the demons around?
Wow.
Hello.
Round one, fight.
It's tough to do anything in 8 minutes.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Dude, I'm surrounded by assholes.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Now.
What happened to then?
We passed that.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.